your nephew does seem to have a problem. And just as you called me and spoke of this wonderful opportunity that your nephew has, I coincidentally got a call from a young gentleman who I'd mentored a few years ago. He was running a startup at that time, and I'd helped him build that startup, helped him sell it to somebody, and then he moved on to a consulting house in another country. And just like your nephew, he's 5 years into his career, and this is what we do. At this stage, we go for the big leap and we say we do our MBA. We have enough work experience, we have the money, we can explore and live the world, live the entire MBA experience and make the leap, because we are looking for a steeper learning curve and we are looking for a faster professional growth curve at this stage. So what, and I will say the same thing to your nephew as I said to my young friend. This is what they teach you in an MBA. It's all about costs and benefits. You need to weigh your costs and benefits. So let's talk about the costs first. Your nephew has a cost estimated at 1.5 CR. I'm assuming that's just tuition, because if he gets admission in a large city or a big and vibrant city, where of course the learning and the corporate exposure along with the MBA is so much more, the cost of living is huge. So maybe one of the things that you can do to mitigate that cost or reduce that cost is to think of maybe a 1-year MBA instead of a 2-year MBA. Or INSEAD has an 11-month program. ISB has a shorter program. INSEAD, in fact, even has a 3-continent program where both the costs are limited and you get exposure across 3 different types of economies and engagements with the corporate. But that's only one part of the cost. In fact, I took your query so seriously that I went and wrote a whole series of notes, and I will refer to the notes over here. Second, and most important, is the cost of time. An MBA is 2 years, even if you do the 1-year MBA, it's 1 year. Taking a year out of your life when he is already in a great position, and we'll talk a bit more about that, may be quite costly. And given the fact that we are in the middle of a COVID crisis, given the fact that we're talking about socially distanced learning, the core peer experience of the MBA may or may not be exactly what all of us expected. It's going to be a different experience. We're going to have a crisis learning experience, and then we're going to have a post-crisis experience. And in an MBA, the most important thing is your presence. Now, if your presence, which means your engagement in the classroom, your engagement in projects with corporates, your internships, and the way you engage and build your peer networks, because these are going to be your career networks for life. How you work with your cohort depends so much upon your sheer physical presence and how you exude and enable and work with that. So that's going to be a bit iffy for sure in the next year or so. So I would actually count that as a cost and not a benefit at this stage. Also, it is true that the world is a little bit more uncertain. Countries at this stage, as we speak, are still pulling up their drawbridges. So visa immigration rules are still tricky. The US is already talking about pulling back on their 1-year CPT experience thing, the work experience part of it. The UK is trying to open up, but really is not convinced about opening up. Australia's, the rules keep changing for different professions, and that's part of their point system. Canada itself, for now during the lockdown, of course, there are no new ways of getting in there, even though their regime is so much more relaxed. So again, visa considerations, will you be able to work in other countries after having invested so much money and time in doing your MBA there? Consideration. So there are costs to it. And I think your nephew is right to be quite concerned about these, because, well, vasuli karna is important to all of us, and vasuli hogi ya nahi. So let's see what are the benefits. Now here's one definite thing. The curriculum and the content of the MBA is still going to be fantastic. The learning is going to be great. In fact, if your nephew is able to get admission to those MBA institutions, where the professors are actually finding solutions to the crisis. They're inventing the new normal as they speak, helping organizations and governments out of crisis. Then the learning within the MBA program is going to be immense. But if your nephew happens to get admission to an MBA program where the professors are receivers of theory, they don't necessarily create theory, they just teach it, then the learning experience is almost derivative. And maybe your nephew should think again about this, about whether he should be doing this MBA. Because what I noticed is that he is already in a great position. In uncertain times, people are not sure of even keeping their jobs. He has a job. He has an income. He has a great team. He has people who are ready to support him within the workplace and work with him. These are huge resources in shaky times. And more importantly, he happens to be in a field where the learning curve in the job is going to be immense. He's going to have to hustle, he's going to have to learn, he's going to have to engage, he's going to have to solve all the things they teach you in an MBA. Not everything that is taught in the MBA will happen at work, but all the skills that you're required to demonstrate are actually learnable in the workplace as well for now. So maybe the question right now is not whether the MBA should be done or not. Maybe the question is, when should the MBA be done? Let's think through. If it's a 1-year MBA, then 1 year from now, or if it's a 2-year MBA, then 2 years from now, what will the state of the job market be? That's the core question. And to be honest, at this stage, none of us can promise a booming job market in 2 years' time. In 3 years' time, 3.5, 4 years' time, we're almost sure that things are going to be well within the new normal. The wheels are going to be oiled. Things are going to be much, much more stable than they are now. So maybe if he thinks about doing this MBA a year from now, a year and a half from now, he may find himself in a more secure place, having had the best of both worlds, the learning curve within the crisis at the workplace, and then the organized, systematic learning, which is obviously far wider than what the job workplace can provide. In both, and then after that, he'll be ready to face the world in ways that will strengthen him. Yes, the larger global economy. Most forecasts have said that the Far East is going to do far better than Europe in the coming years. Those were the pre-COVID forecasts. So learning in India, learning in Singapore, doing an MBA in the Far East, and ISB and Singapore and maybe AIM in Manila seem to be far better options because you're closer to these markets. Unless you're very, very sure that you want to be a trader after an MBA, you want to go in for investment banking only, then sure, being in New York helps. The others are going to go through really tough times for a few years, those economies. So being close to those economies, being close to those solutions at the MBA level may not make so much sense right now. Executive education options will exist throughout your career for that. So just go where the growth is. Go where you estimate the growth is. Because during your MBA, you're going to be doing projects, you're going to be doing internships, and you're going to be able to engage via your professors with their clients, your professors' clients, consulting clients. So wherever you see the growth opportunity, they should go there. Europe is always a solid option, but it's a slow option. It's a slow burn. You have to sort of wait for 5 or 7 years before the whole benefit starts kicking in. The US, the economy is okay-ish right now, but it's really not a very stable place. My own son is in the US right now and is going to be looking for the next leap. He's an undergrad student. And I'm not absolutely convinced that there are growth prospects over there the way they used to be, say, even a decade ago. I am not convinced that the visa, even getting an internship is almost impossible over there. So between the internship you have to do within the MBA, you're not going to have such a great experience there unless their visa rules loosen up a bit. So ISP, in fact, is a fantastic experience because they were designed to invite visiting professors from other places. It was designed to be an international experience in India. It isn't as much so anymore as it was when it first started, but it's a solid, good program, and with wonderful professors. So my own cousin actually just a couple of years ago chose ISB over two admissions in the US. Uh, Not just because of the cost, but also because of the cohort experience. It was just such a vibrant experience. It's the faculty engagement, what happens in the classroom, that really matters, where you feel the zing. So people should actually ping alumni of those institutes. Your friends should ping people who are actually in the MBA program right now and ask them how it's been for them. There's nothing better than a live response. So good luck to him, and good luck to all of you who are actually trying to answer this question. Weigh your costs and benefits. If you find yourself in a good place right now, use this opportunity for learning and growth as well. If you find yourself with a great MBA ambition, use that opportunity to work with your professors and watch them in action. But it depends upon where you are right now. So I hope this helped. Take care then, and ask me any more questions you need. Thanks.